Okay, to release these two cables, you see the configuration right there. Okay, this one's going to have a little, the knob is, oh, let me show you. This little knob end here sticks out right there, so you just push in, it pushes it in and it comes out. This one here will have the same exact thing. So you just push in, lift it out, and then to get these off, you just push the little tab in and the eyelet will lift right off the end piece there. As you can see on the 2006 and later, not all, but a lot of this, everything except the radio has been integrated into the bezel, this trim cover. Whereas this stuff here would have, in older models, been down there. And I was going to show you the screws. I don't know if you can get a better view. And they're at a very obtuse angle, so it's going to be fun screwing them back in. But on the 2006, well, you won't get this off without taking those screws loose right there. The reason I use painter's tape to label all this, I actually have ride-on labels, electrical ride-on labels, since I am an electrician, but this blue painter's tape comes off very easily, whereas the ride-on labels are going to be more or less permanent. This way, when I go back to put it all together, as I plug each one into where it goes, I'll simply tear it off, or you could leave them on, but I'm going to take them off. Anyway, that's the reason for the blue electrical tape. It's better than regular masking tape. It comes off so much easier. Okay, next to come out is the radio. These are Torx. You got 4 of them. 2 over here. And then you'll have an antenna plug on the back and a power plug. The way I knew that for sure that I had sprung a leak, one day I could very faintly smell antifreeze, but I couldn't, you know, as a matter of fact, even my nephew was in the car at the time, and I kept asking him, do you smell that? And he said, well, he couldn't really tell, but he thought he smelled something. So anyway, the next time I drove it, well, there was no doubt about it then. That heater core had ruptured, and here it is late, well, early fall. So it's, I mean, we're still in warm weather, but the windows were fogging up. I mean, the windows were steaming up. And then now, to drive it now, this smell is so powerful, it's sickening. So it's for sure, there's no, and plus by the fact that when I took that, the hoses off the core this morning, there was not a drop of water in the core. So it's leaking straight out, and it must be pretty bad. Anyway, we'll keep going. Okay, took the screws out, just like I said. I labeled the package, and I'm going to put them in a box right there, and I'm going to do the same thing with all the screws that I take out of here. I'm not losing nothing. And if you don't think that's worth your time, then you go ahead and pull your hair out looking for screws that you drop down somewhere. You put them all in the same bucket and you can't figure out what goes where, because some of these screws are not the same length. So it's well worth your while to stay organized as you're doing this. Radio wise, you got speakers, you got power, you got antenna. That's all there is to it. Just pull it out, unplug it, and I'm going to label those so just to be on the safe side. So they'll all go back together nice and easy. Okay, here is a major difference in 2006 to 2010. And the video it's on YouTube right now, and this guy does an excellent job. This young guy does a good job of showing how to do this job, but this is why I'm doing it. There's some very important differences when you get to this point. On his video, he shows a screw right here that once you take that out, you can pull the dash out. So this one obviously does not have that. It was redesigned in 2006. So it really left me scratching my head how to find it. There's no reference to this in the Haynes manual. There was nothing on YouTube about it. I finally found a forum that talked about a 2007. So I followed the advice. Oh, I gotta put my glove on to show this. Okay, his advice, and this evidently did work. His advice was to grab hold, and this is pretty sharp. That's why I had to have the gloves. It's where your VIN number is. And just give it a yank. And I did. And now this is loose. Then it'll just be a matter of working this out from here. And you just do something. There's not a handhold on the other side, but you can grab along this edge and effectively do the same thing. So that is a difference when you come to this and it's like this and it's not, and how it shows in the older models and it's not. Haynes has, I can't believe Haynes is a lot better than Chilton's, and they had no reference to this at all, this change. So anyway, that I'll get the dash cover out now next, and we'll go from there. Okay, I'm going to show this right quick. I got the dash cover out, and it came out once. Just be patient, work it nice and slow. You won't break anything. The whole thing is held in on this setup, on this year model. It's just got these clips right here, all across the way, and then you have two guides. One here. Well, actually, you got a bunch of them. They're all across. Okay, so what those do is just guide it in, and then you'd lower this down and then push to get it back in. That's one thing to remember. So that's a difference between this and the earlier model. Okay, right here is another important difference in the 2006 and later. In the earlier models, the door controller, remote door controller's module was right here. As you can see, I don't know where they put it, it's somewhere else. So that's something on this particular setup we don't have to worry about. At least at the moment. We might have to worry about it later. But okay, next I'm going to go down here and see about getting this panel off. Okay, there's an important difference on the knee bolster from older models. On the older models, you could just take this and just pull it down, and the whole thing would just fall out. You can't do that on this. If you try to do that, keep doing it, you're going to screw something up. So here's what. Couldn't find anything on the internet or YouTube about it. I just had to keep looking. So what you do is you do pull on this. And what you'll do is you'll disengage this clip and the clip on the other side. That will give you enough room. I hope I can show this. There's a flap. Now this is on my model. It may be different on other ones. But when you get it down just enough, look in here and you'll see 3 tabs, 1, 2, 3, that are held on clips. What you have to do is you have to push down on the clips. Now I purposely put it back up so you can see what I'm talking about. Here's the 3 clips. You got to put your hand in and push down, because now there it fell down. There's 3 tabs right here holding it in, and you're not going to do nothing but screw something up if you just yank on it like you did on the older, like the guy shows in the other one. What he shows is absolutely correct for his model, and he does a great job. And like I said, I wouldn't be trying this if I hadn't watched his. But anyway, I'm just saying there are differences starting in 2006, very important differences. So I'll keep documenting those as I go along. Okay, on the glove box, you just have 2 tabs on either side. All you have to do is push them in. It comes right out. There is a little strap right there. You just take it out. It's hard to do with just 2 hands, but just take that off, and that's it to the glove box. Okay, on the driver's side, next thing I'm going to take off are these. It appears to me there's 2 panels here, 2 separate, and I can't remember for sure, but I think the older models it was one. Anyway, got four screws there, and then we'll see if this will come off. Should. And then that's probably, it looks like a separate piece. We'll see. Okay, it turned out I only had to take 2 screws off. That's evidently a separate, something separate. So this is, and then you just pull, and it comes off fairly easy. Okay, now I'm gonna take off this bottom piece. Right there's 1 screw here, 1 there. I should just drop out. Okay, the way this bottom cover is held on is a really different setup than what I've ever seen. It appears to me we're going to have to take this black plate off. It's only 4 screws to access this because there's hooks all across the top, and I suspect on the bottom too that's holding that in, and you can't get it just right to be able to take it off. So we'll take this cover off and see how I need to proceed.